Hobby quick hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 180 of Hobby Quick Hits. If you couldn't tell, we are on every other week, alternating with Card Mentions, which is every other week, live on Friday nights, 9 p.m. So this week is Hobby Quick Hits. The topic, my top 10 reasons I love hobby podcasting. Quick episode. We're going to do it a little tongue-in-cheek, much like the David Letterman top 10 countdowns. Have a little fun with today's episode. Hope you enjoy it.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
All right, I'm going to go over the next 2 weeks of product coming out for your enjoyment. Let's start with June 5th. Yeah, we're already in June, folks. Time is flying. We are having fun, right? June 5th, 2023-24, Panini Obsidian Basketball. These are all June 5th, 2023-24, Panini Select Serie A Soccer, 2024, Pieces of the Past, 1800s edition. Upper Deck Marvel Flair. And closing out the 5th, 23-24, Upper Deck Synergy Hockey. Moving to the 7th of June, Pokemon Vibrant Padilla Mini Tin. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Twilight Masquerade Build a Battle Deck. Say that 10 times fast. Also on the 7th, 2024, Press Pass Premium Football. 2023-24, Topps G League Basketball. Headed to the 12th, Doctor Who Series 5 Trading Cards. Also on the 12th, 23-24, Topps Chrome Bundesliga Soccer. 2024, Topps Series 2 Baseball, Blasters, Hobbies, and Jumbos. On the 14th of June, 23-24, Panini Donruss Optic Basketball, and that will do it for the next 2 weeks. Choose your product. Happy ripping.
Let's go round the Hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out. All right, not a huge news week, but some big stories here. Let's start with one of the bigger ones. Major League Baseball, the Hall of Fame, have announced that the Negro League stats from yesteryear will count as Major League official stats. I agree with this decision. That has moved some Negro League stars like Josh Gibson to number one on some of the lists. Now, here's where I have a different opinion. I don't believe in the season records should trump the Major League Baseball season records. And the reason being is that the Negro League seasons were shorter at 60 games in comparison to 154 or 162. So it was easier to have a higher batting average or slugging percentage over the course of 60 games and over the course of 154 or 162. So I don't think the season records should top the record book, but I think overall stats, including the Major League Baseball stats, should top the record book. So there's my take. Overdue, and congrats to those that are finally getting their just desserts. All right, arrest made in the Strongsville Memory Lane $2.1 million card heist case. As expected, it was an employee of the Best Western who took the cards and then stored them at his friend's house. They've recovered 52 of the 54. A Walter Johnson and I believe a Lou Gehrig still remain missing. There is a rumor to be a second arrest coming. Without knowing for sure, I'm going to venture a safe guess that it will be the friend who allowed his house to store the stolen cards. He'll be arrested as an accomplice to grand theft, is my prediction there. Speaking of legalities, Fanatics is suing Marvin Harrison Jr. for breach of contract. They supposedly had a deal for semi-exclusive rights to signatures and under contract, and Marvin Harrison Jr. says there's no contract as far as I'm concerned, so he's not fulfilling his obligations. Fanatics says, okay, you don't want to do what you signed to do, we'll take you to court. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't have an agent, but Marvin Harrison Sr., NFL Hall of Famer, former Syracuse Orangeman alum, is sort of his agent per se, kind of representing him, handling business for him. So we kind of have to stay tuned to see what the outcome of this is. And, you know, while Panini is still making football products, can they, will they have Marvin Harrison Jr. autographs? Now, he has some autographs in some of the early Bowman U releases there. So that's it for this week's news. All right, folks, fun little episode I wanted to put together. Short and sweet. Not gonna spend a ton of time, but I do get asked every once in a while, what is it about podcasting that you love or like, John? And it's not one thing. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna have a little fun. Used to be a big fan of the David Letterman back when he was on the air. So we're gonna do a top 10 reasons why John loves to podcast edition. So, we're going to have a little fun, a little tongue-in-cheek. It's going to be some humor, some seriousness, but we're going to go through the top 10 list of why I love to, do these hobby podcasts, if you will. So, with that being said, number 10. It's fun. It's fun and enjoyable, right? If it wasn't fun and enjoyable, I would stop doing it. I've told people that is, I'll know when I'm done because it won't be fun and enjoyable. It'll become a chore. I'll look at it almost as if it was a job. So for me, it's fun and enjoyable. And if it isn't anymore, then I'll know it's time to give it up. But right now, that is not the case, thankfully. So, number 9. And I'm thankful for number 9. People enjoy it, right? The numbers and my demographics report and the downloads illustrate that it's received nicely and people enjoy it. I got in at hobby podcasting probably at the right time, almost 6 years ago, when there were less podcasts to go up against. I've built the following, and again, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that, and it's nice. It's one thing for me to have fun and enjoy the process, but it's even more, what makes that even better is that other people feel the same way about the content that I produce. Number 8. It keeps me involved. I mean, I'm going to be in the hobby regardless, but it keeps me more involved, more in tune with the hobby that I've loved. I've done this, not podcasting, but I've done the hobby since 7 years old, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to be here till I'm not here anymore. At least in the hobby. I'm not saying podcasting, but it keeps me involved, and that's important. So I'm very appreciative of that fact. Number 7. I have a face for it, right? I always joke, I have a face for radio. Well, I have a face for podcasting. So it's easy for me to, I don't want to say it's easy, but I don't find it difficult to turn the mic on and share my thoughts and share information and that sort of thing. So I always joke that I have a face for radio / podcasting. So there you go. Number 6. It's made me more social, right? I'm generally a shy guy. People think I'm crazy when I tell them that, but it's actually true. I'm pretty shy, but this has made me more social. Not only this, I don't want to just say it's only this, but going back to coaching, high school varsity football, baseball, getting into the teaching profession and speaking in front of people. But now, it's sort of second nature to me when there was a point in my life where my knees would knock together or I would get very nervous. And those days are fortunately in the rearview mirror. And I think podcasting's been a big factor when I started 6 years ago, and I'm sure if you listen to those first year episodes, you could probably tell the nerves I had at the time. So, now it's been, it's become sort of second nature, muscle memory, if you will, and definitely it has made me more mature in terms of being social. So there you go there. Number 5. I love to educate folks, right? And I use the 2 A words, ambassador and advocate. Very important, right? If you love your hobby, you want to promote it to other people. You want other people, hey man, this is the greatest hobby. Get on board. Get on the boat and let's have fun together. And so that kind of starts with education, right? I think the reason sometimes people are leery to get into something is they're scared they don't know it enough or they could be taken advantage of. So education's a big thing to me. Being an ambassador and advocate, being available to help people when needed or asked, and education, ambassador, advocate. This platform, affords me the opportunity to do that, and I'm very appreciative of that fact. Number 4. Learning myself, right? I say all the time, if I don't learn something hobby related in a day, I either took a break from the hobby that day, wasn't involved, didn't do anything, which is okay. But if I'm involved in the hobby each day, I'm going to learn something about the hobby. And the hobby's always ever changing, more so now than in the past years ago. So you really have to stay involved to kind of keep up with a very busy news cycle. And so it's helped me learn this podcasting. And when you have to do research to put on a show or to do an episode, you learn, right? It just doesn't fall into your head automatically. It's not a stock ticker that just download. You got to go out there and find out the information, whether it's through social media, talking to somebody lets you know. I'm learning every day that I'm involved in the hobby. And the minute I don't learn anymore, I'm either stubborn and don't care, or I'm just not involved, or I'm not in the hobby. And so I don't see those things happening. So you have to learn in order to educate others. And I have no problem doing that. And again, you don't know everything, so there's always room to learn more when you don't know everything. All right, number 3. One great thing about podcasting, it's helped me, connect with people, right? I can, I've met, again, you go to different hobby events and people maybe recognize you. You can have a conversation, and you kind of break the ice and meet people in person. And that's always, the older I get, I've become more of a people person, and I enjoy that. So, very important to me. So, number 2. And number 2 is kind of similar to number 3, but create friendships and camaraderie, right? Some of my best friends in the hobby are because of the podcast, whether they came on as a guest, or I came on as a guest on their program, or we connected just through the podcast. People come up and say, "Hey, man, love the show, glad to meet you, never met you," and I've become friends with these folks. And we talk about the national, right? It's become kind of the place to meet every year, and some of those friendships were forged through podcasting. Would I still have hobby friends without the podcast? Sure, but I will tell you this: not as many. It's really afforded me a lot of friendships and collaborations through the 6 years, and I'm very grateful and appreciative of all those friendships and contacts and different perks, if you will, of what I do. And there are perks, and I don't shy away from talking about them and that sort of thing. But made many friends with collectors, people in the industry that hold titles, and one and the same. I'm appreciative of both sides of those aisles, and it's just fun, right? It's fun to get to know people, what they like to do, what they collect, have conversation. The funny thing is, a lot of times when I've talked to people I've met through the hobby, when I conversate with them, a lot of times it's not even about the hobby, it's about life or their families or what's going on, or maybe they're dealing with something. And so it becomes a little bit, not to be dramatic, but there's maybe a little bit of an outreach in there, if you will. And that's a plus and a positive as well. And even with myself, dealing with a loss of a pet, the loss of my stepbrother during the show run, and I kind of came on and, bared myself out there. It was kind of cathartic, right? And people reached out and did nice things and offered condolences or sent something. Not that I was, advocating for that, but people did that out of the kindness of the heart, of their heart. And we'll never forget any of that stuff, and very appreciative. And that's the beauty of the hobby, right? It goes past the cards, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We're human beings, right? The hobby's just a small segment of our life. I think I did some math. It's about 11% of what I do. So I'm appreciative of all of that stuff that's encompassed. Much of it thanks to this to podcasting. All right, the number one reason I enjoy podcasting. Can do it in my underwear. I'm in my underwear right now in the comfort of my home. Not on YouTube. Right at the moment doing this, so you can do it in your creature comforts. Now I'm kidding there, but not untrue, but a little tongue in cheek humor there. So there's my top 10 list. Inspired by the old David Letterman show, late night show, and his top 10 list. So, I love podcasting. I love doing it. I love that a lot of you love it as well. So we'll wrap it up right there. But as I always say, we'll see you real soon. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/SportsCardNationPodcast/ Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram, at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.